Your previous organizations, while you have created many portfolios, I mean, be it on the value side, be it on the vision side, or also in terms of backing up the Indian promoters. So you have created portfolios uh, largely driven or focused on businesses run by Indian promoters. And now at Motilal Oswal Asset Management, you seem to have launched something called a Founders Fund. What is this fund all about?
Let me share some bit of experiences which I had over a period of time, which resulted in this franchise becoming what it did in my earlier organization. Actually, what happened was, going back the memory lane, in the AXA group, so which
Sure.
was where I was before ASK. Now, AXA then between 2008 and 2011 was the largest money manager globally. Even now it will be top 10 globally.
Yeah.
Now, globally, people grow organically, but most of the growth comes inorganically. They keep buying each other out. If that size of a company buys a few billion, few hundred billion kind of an entity, it is normal, and it doesn't catches the eye. It is what they keep doing all the while. But if that size of an entity buys $150 million franchise, then it seems very odd. So which is what happened, and there was a small franchise which they bought, which was focused on backing entrepreneurs.
Sure.
Through actually their holding companies, which is when, this thought that it is the entrepreneurs which take risk, build the capital stock of a nation, make a nation grow through their vision and their endeavors. Of course, in an emerging country like India, backed by the government, government provides a tailwind. Frankly, was a huge change in thought process that I encountered. My background is public sector. You did not touch upon the SBI Capital 10 years,
Yes,
and before
the head
that,
of research.
before that, I have been raised in a steel township, sales steel township. So my background is very, very PSU. I thought PSUs build the country. I thought government build the country, which is when, in AXA, I first got introduced to this thought that, while all of them may provide tailwind, they may provide catalysts, but it is the entrepreneur, it's the guy who is taking the risk, putting money at risk, who actually builds up the country. And then when I moved to ASK Group, there was this small fund, 80 crores, if I remember right, of the size at that point in time, which you try and find something familiar in a new platform. This was something familiar. Managed a tad differently, but something else which was very close to my heart was managed in one manner.
Sure.
So high quality, high growth, quality defined in a particular manner, translated into numbers, growth, what order of growth that we want. And since we had there, converted the philosophy into a process, the style purity was very, very good. So these are the learnings, okay, and we managed to the T. You see how we did it. This is what we did. High quality, high growth entrepreneurs bring, want to grow faster. They put in their toil, they put in their energies, and if they are good in quality, they have succession planning. People who associate with them make money. So that's the very simple thought. But managed in one manner, over 11 years, resulted in very good performance track record for most of that period.
Sure.
You end up selling a philosophy rather than selling a stock. It becomes very easy for sales to sell. It becomes very easy for the client to understand. And if you keep demonstrating that this is how the portfolio is built, with each name matching up to the philosophy,
Sure.
and in that period, performance definitely coming in, and we can talk of the tailwinds which were there.
Sure.
helped build that fund up to a peak level of 28,000 crores. Now here, obviously this is something that we want to replicate.
Sure.
With a lot of tweaks actually, so it is similar and not similar. One, we want what we want is the growth DNA of the management. So yes, we have parameterized it with let's say 26% of promoter equity at the minimum.
Sure.
But at the same time, we have made a leeway for people with large ESOPs. So, while many a times we believe that it is the promoter who is driving it, what we see is the best thing the promoter may have done is to find a equally charged up or even more charged up top management.
Sure.
And there are enough and more
Examples.
of the same. So, we say if there is a great guy at the top who is aligned to small shareholders through, sizable ESOPs, we are happy to look. So, that is one change that we have done. I mean, a lot of the successes that we have seen over the past few years were actually the work of the top management,
Sure.
which was not a promoter.
Yeah.
And we want to harness that. Second, what also happens is some of these newer age businesses, which is where entrepreneurs of the day are making a large change, don't have a large equity, stakes. So, can we deny that they have fire in the belly? No, they are making a change for the good for the country. And in this kind of a fund, which is so much growth oriented, we have to, in the construct itself, provide them space.
Sure.
And this thing does that. The other thing that this does is, for example, in banks, where by the rule of the law, banks have to bring down promoter stake to below 25%.
Yeah.
Now some exceptions are being provided, and slowly, a large space like banking, which is overall banks plus their subs and insurance, capital market, etc., put together is 35% or thereabouts in the index.
Sure.
The choice for an founder's portfolio would have gotten very low, but because of this tweak, we are able to be invested in private sector banks. So, this is one change that we did, and the other one that we did was to include businesses which may be on the path to profits, while today they may be making losses.
Sure.
Because it requires some extra monitoring, but if companies have come and projected profits over a foreseeable future, and every quarter they seem to be on the path, I think this journey is where, from a disbelief, people start to believe. There is sizable amount of value creation that happens. We want to benefit from there. So it's not like we will put one name, large percentage there, but divide that into 2 or 3 names. We and 8-9% of the portfolio. We want to create space for that as well, because this is what founders, promoters, entrepreneurs are all about.
Sure.
Otherwise, what happens is the product veers around to investing into more staid, maturing businesses, rather than younger, faster growing businesses, which this whole thought is supposed to capture. Now, when you do this, how do we provide the other big thing which an investor requires, which is preservation?
Yeah.
So preservation happens because, one, you start with a high quality.
Sure.
2, because you don't take any large bets on any name. So, today in the construct, for example, it's a 22 stock construct,
Sure.
equal weighted. So, 4 point something percentage is the weight of each name in the portfolio,
Sure.
of course, moving by the movement in the marketplace itself. Third, what we are also doing is, like I described before, looking inwards. So very few names, if at all, are names where this fund becomes the first buyer of a stock.
Sure.
Okay, we are invested in a lot of names as a house, and 90+% of the portfolio is invested into names where the house has been invested for some time. You know, when you are invested in a name for some time, you understand it better. You have time to see whether the thesis is playing out or not, and thereby avoid error of commission. So this is what it is, and then all the themes that we are talking about
Sure.
get represented. So in terms of performance, we believe we are quality and growth, and on growth we have captured all themes. So whichever part of the market works, I think we should participate. And then what we have also done is to construct a portfolio which has presence across the board.
Sure.
So, it has come out, it was less planned, but it has come out that way. That every 20,000 crores from zero, if we move, we have like 20% positioned in the market of the portfolio. So, whichever part works, I think something in the portfolio should have some tailwinds. So that is basically the thought: provide preservation, provide growth and order larger than the index. 2-year numbers, I think, are in the projection period itself, but because of the growth tailwinds, which we believe would be there because of the themes we spoke about, our companies should be able to deliver growth over the next period as well, not
Sure.
only 2-year, 3-year projection period. Thereby, over the life of the fund, provide an alpha to the client.